Dan Dix here, reporting for Press for Truth with breaking news today in the Surrey terrorist bomb-making plot. Judge overturns convictions of John Nuttall and Amanda Corrady in connection with the plot to bomb BC legislature. BC Supreme Court Justice Catherine Bruce has concluded that the Mounties entrapped two Surrey drug users into plotting a terrorist attack. Folks, this is absolutely huge, and today we're going to break it down for you and expose this police-manufactured crime. Now, I must say I do feel vindicated after practically screaming about this for the last 3 years. We tried to warn you the day after it happened in this video here, Canada Day bombing foiled plot or CSIS setup. And even in the lead up to this event, we warned what was coming from the intelligence communities based on our expose of other fake terrorist plots that we've exposed. Canadian terror plot exposed as RCMP setup, CSIS and the RCMP complicit in manufacturing terrorism, and just on and on. Conditioning Canadians for the war on terror. And I'll include links to all of these in the description so that you guys can verify everything that I'm saying for yourself. But it is clear as day now that the Canadian government acts as a terrorist organization through the police and the intelligence communities, and therefore we as taxpayers are supporting true terrorism. Now, the BC Supreme Court ruled that the RCMP's 5-month undercover operation involving 240 officers who billed $900,000 in overtime alone was entrapment. Folks, this is your tax dollars funding terrorism. That's who was creating this plot. The Canadian government through the police and the intelligence communities. This was a clear case of police-manufactured crime, Bruce wrote in her ruling. The world has enough terrorists. We do not need the police to create more out of marginalized people. And it wasn't just the material supplies of cash and cigarettes and groceries, cars, hotels, cell phones, all the logistical supplies that they needed, and the inert bomb itself. But one of the undercover agents was acting as a mentor to Nuttall. But even more than that, Nuttall kept having reservations about the plan. The RCMP wanted him in Victoria for a recon mission, but he wanted to visit his family. They wanted him to die for the cause, but he said that he had debts, so he couldn't do true jihad. So the RCMP actually said that they would pay off what he owes. I mean, just think about that for a second. And of course, Nuttall didn't know that his mentor was the RCMP the whole time, but it obviously should have been clear to this undercover agent that this lunatic was sane enough not to kill himself. He kept coming up with barriers to a jihadi success, and so the RCMP kept offering ways around those barriers. The RCMP basically wanted us to believe that these paranoid, impoverished drug addicts were a threat to public safety, and the judge rightfully called it out as entrapment. But I'm calling it flat out for what it is, folks, terrorism. Clearly, the RCMP is the threat since they're the ones spending the time and the money and the resources on a terrorist plan here to frame innocent people. I mean, if the RCMP were actually looking out for our public safety, they would arrest real criminals, like politicians and special interest groups and the people who strip away our rights and freedoms and keep the troops overseas. And as the judge said here, the defendants were the foot soldiers, while the undercover officer was the leader of the group. The role the police played is even more offensive because they violated the criminal code. The world has enough terrorists. We do not need the police to create more. Guys, please share this video. We need to get the word out about what's happening in this country. We have to continue to expose the fact that our government is acting as a terrorist cell intent on causing mayhem and harm, and we, the Canadian people, are the ones who are paying for it. So stop giving in to this system and start supporting real journalism, real independent media, because you're not getting this information from the mainstream media, and we've been trying to tell you about this for years. And we need your help and support to be able to continue to put out this information. You can join us here as a PFD patron and help us get the word out, guys, before it's too late. Don't forget to subscribe. Stay tuned for more video reports coming soon. This is Dan Dix reporting for pressfortruth.ca.
Were there any CSIS informants who infiltrated the group?
Once again, I have no comment on the evidence.
Can you tell us why the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security are involved?
I can't comment on that, and frankly, I don't know.
So he could not comment on whether or not during the monitoring process the suspects was contacted or not, or whether or not they were set up by a CSIS informant.